This is lecture IO6, facade testing. We talk about introduction facade testing, the technical and architectural mock-ups, and the types of testing which we can deal with. Why do we test? When it comes to detailing and connection, every facade is different. Testing a small sample of a facade system or for architectural and technical quality before reproducing it in mass will avoid errors down the road and disappointed client, disappointed architects, disappointed engineers. So that's why we do testing. Architectural mock-up, technical mock-up, and building physics labs. These are testing types. Architectural mock-up tests of an architecture quality such as overall aesthetics, material selections, outward and inward visibility, spatial feeling and fabrication quality is something which is very, very important. We very much see this in, say, non-standard special buildings that this kind of testing is done. And it helps to identify, that's what you, for example, see here, the different type of concrete surface. It helps to identify the quality you want and the technology which is requested. It may stand till the end of construction to each time again compare the real construction versus the promised qualities in the architectural mock-up versus a technical mock-up. This technical mock-up tests functional performance according to the local and international standards. This involves tests for water, airtightness, high wind impact, and corrosion resisting, as well as fireproofing. I'm going to see all of them in some samples. Water and airtightness. These test setups are sealed. So you place the facade as we see it in here, you seal the entire thing, and then you're put under over or under pressure depending on the system, this entire system, and then you start penetrating this system with water to identify leakages in the facade system. And if then there's any water draining through the system, depending on the air pressure you place on the inside and the amount of rain you mimic on the inside of the system, it either failed or survived its testing request. UV can have an impact, especially on oil-based products, the sealant, the PVC frames. So UV testing here in AIT Austria can be an impact to identify the quality and the performance of the material. And then the impact resistance testing. This is a soft body impact resistant for glass, for example. You see that device hanging on a chain, bunching into the facade, mimicking the high-speed wind impact, or an object as stones and birds, as it said here, or us as person, 100-kilo impact on a certain level to the structure to see if the structure itself still withstands the forces happening. And this is fire resistance, so identifying different fire scenarios with a defined energy resource, which then the fire is using to enlighten the facade, to see if the facade is fire resistant or flammable to a certain level, and then by that occur to be a problem or not, if failed. And then the final one, the building physics lab. This is a device done in Delft. This is a sample which we have in Delft, which is an environmental impact which helps you to identify the illumination, but also smell situations and air ventilation qualities for people. This building physics lab has the idea of having probants, people sitting in there and evaluating the quality you're dealing with. Air draft ventilation, ergonomic, if wanted. As is testing. Standard versus customized facade systems. Standard systems are tested to be certified by They are tested by the supplier. As long as the system is used as predicted, no further testing is needed. So you actually buy a standard component from the shelf and you know what's the value. Customized facade systems for complex buildings are often assembled from project-specific testing devices. The extrusions, the gaskets, the connections, they are all individual designed, and they need technical testing. So technical testing is required to be before construction. As assessed a system. Standard facade systems, which we are aware of in aluminium, wood, PVC, metal, are pre-certified and then installed as an entire system. All the components, the shading, the ventilation, all the facades are pre-tested, and we know what we get when we install them. If you go to customized facades, complex geometries, or other innovations in non-standard project-specific components, they may be specially tested to fulfill the local regulations, to avoid areas and to avoid costs at the construction site, and maybe even delays at the construction site. So technical mock-ups and testing processes can be costly. It says cost millions for the trial, and sometimes we even go for 2 or 3 testing iteration before we successfully end up with the test. This can cost time, and that's something which is to be taken into account when we go for special construction. That's also maybe a key decision point. Are we able to go for special construction? Do we have the time and the budget to do all the tests which are necessary? Conclusions: facade testing is necessary to make sure architectural, technical, and user comfort qualities are achieved before mass production starts. Obvious. Testing of customized facade assemblies is cost and time consuming. It must be considered when planning a complex geometry or non-standard project. That's, say, one of the key aspects which we need to take care of. As usual, this is part of the Delft Darmstadt Munich Facade Education Project with all the involved people. Thanks for participating.